Here's a simplified look at Chapter 2 of the Transfer of Property Act, catering to LLB students of CSJMU Kanpur. Introduction to Chapter 2, Transfers of Property by Act of Parties. This chapter is the heart of the TPA. It dives into how someone can legally transfer their rights over property to another person while they are still alive. As future lawyers, you need to understand this thoroughly because it governs situations like selling a house, gifting land, creating a mortgage, renting out an apartment. Let's break down the sections with easy to understand examples. Section 5, Transfer of Property. The basics. Property transfer means one person, transferor, passes their rights in a property to another, transferee. It must involve living people. Example, Rohan is the owner of a commercial building. He legally sells it to Meera. This is a transfer of property. Section 6, What may be transferred? Types of interests, not just ownership. You can transfer various interests in property. Full ownership. Leases, e.g., renting out a flat. Mortgages, as security for a loan. Easements, e.g., right of way through a neighbor's land. Example, Mrs. Verma owns farmland. She leases it to a farmer for cultivation. She hasn't transferred ownership, but a leasehold interest. Section 7, Persons competent to transfer. Who can transfer? Owners, or someone legally authorized on their behalf having legal capacity, not a minor or declared legally unsound of mind. Title or claim to the property. Example, Raj cannot sell his grandfather's land unless he inherits it or has a power of attorney. Section 8, Operation of transfer. When it takes effect, whether transfer is for the present or future is important. Sometimes rights don't pass immediately. Example, Anita leaves a will granting her house to her nephew upon her death. The transfer will only be operative at her passing. Section 9, Oral transfer. When spoken word is enough, simple things like short-term leases can sometimes be made orally. Most property transfers need written, registered documents for legal proof. Sections 10 to 13, Conditions and limitations. Not all transfers are simple. Owners can put conditions on transfers. Section 10, Restrictions against further alienating a property, often invalid. Section 12, Transfers triggered by bankruptcy, these the law allows. Section 13, Gifts for unborn people have special rules regarding timing. Sections 14 to 25, Perpetuities, vested, and contingent interests. Future interests, these sections get nuanced. Basically, rule against perpetuities, property can't be restricted from transfer forever. Section 14. Vested interest, present right to enjoy, even if possession is later. Contingent interest, depends on the future event happening. Example, gift of ancestral home to A, for life, then to A's firstborn child. The child's interest is contingent on being born. Case law. To illustrate some sections better, look into cases like Tulsiram vs. Annie, 1950, about restrictions on alienation, Sec. 10. Bhogaraju Venkatarama vs. Sitarama Raju, 1972, vested vs. contingent interests, Sec. 18 to 25. Important note, this is just an introduction. To apply the TPA correctly, you need extensive knowledge and updated case law. Let me know if you want a closer look at a particular section or have any more questions.